All right, hello SpeedSF drivers. Welcome to your virtual drivers meeting. We got a few things to cover today, but once you've done this, you're going to begin a short quiz after this. And as long as you pass that quiz, this is your drivers meeting. So that's a good way to skip the line and make sure you're ready to go in time for your first session. We're going to get started off with just in general what to expect. When you're out on track, whether this be your first time or your 100th time, 1,000th time, whatever, it doesn't matter. The main source of information you're always going to have at your disposal out there is the flags and the flag workers. I cannot stress this enough how important they are and understanding what those flags are. So whenever you're going out on track, especially during your first lap out or first session of the day, take note of where the flaggers are. It's really good to see where they're at because, again, they are your lifeline to what's going on outside, around you on track and what's coming up for corners that maybe you can't see because they're blind or you've got tunnel vision, something like that. So always look for them. And that's why, when you get your checkered flag, which we'll go over in a little bit, when your session's coming in and end, whatever, you always want to wave to them. There's two reasons for that. One, it helps build up your memory of where they're at. You can use your peripheral to see where they're at. And also, it's thanking them. They're out there in all sorts of different weather all throughout the year, ensuring that they're keeping you safe and providing you the information you need. But with that in mind, let's get started with the flag. So we're going to talk about the most important flag that you're going to see, every time you go to a track day. You're going to see this yellow flag. So when this yellow flag is out waving, this means that we want you to be going at a slower pace than normal and no passing. Anytime this yellow flag is out, there is no passing to be happening. Now you'll see this yellow for the first 2 laps of your first session in the morning. This is for every run group. This is just, again, so you can wake up, make sure your car's okay, and again, look for those flag workers out on track. Otherwise, you may see this yellow come out when there's an incident. It could be a car spun, it could be something in the road, just something to say, hey, be cautious, look ahead, there's something coming up. So always keep your eye out for this. Now, foremost, the black flag will still remain the same, which is if you see that waving at a station for you, it'll usually be pointed at you, you'll know what happened there, okay? You should know if it's something like you've gone 2 off, 4 off, your passenger's trying to hold the roof down, something silly like that. Just go in, talk to the marshal. They're usually going to let you back out depending on what it is. If it's a meatball flag, that's usually mechanical for sound or something like that. But again, this black flag will be pointed at you typically, and it'll have a number as well in case you're not sure if there's a number of cars around. Now, red flag is the biggest and most important change here. In the past, red flag means come to a safe, controlled stop on course, stopping, either side of the track. That is not the case at Laguna going forward now. The red flag means your session is coming to an end. That means you need to clear the course calmly and safely, reduce your speed, no passing, etc. That means come on in. You can go either back to the paddock or the hot pit lane if you think you're going to be let back out. Again, this does not mean stop on course. It means your session is ending, so you must clear the course calmly and safely. Now, when do you know to actually stop on track? Well, the rules are, if you see a black and red waving together, that is considered an emergency stop. You must come to a nice, safe, controlled stop on course within a couple corners. Do not just immediately slam on your brakes because you saw these, but maybe the car behind you didn't. Come to a safe, controlled stop near a corner worker and stop on either the full left or full right side of the track. Do not stop in the middle. And again, keep it on the pavement, please. Don't go off track. But come to a safe, controlled stop near that flagger, and then you'll be instructed on what to do from there based on flags. So once again, as a recap, this just means, hey, your session is over, head back into the pits or paddock based on, how much time is left. This is solo, meaning going just for you or the car around you, etc. Look for numbers if you're not sure if it's for you. Again, you should know what you did. If these two come out together, that means, hey, something happened on course. We need to get safety, medical, etc. out there ASAP. Some to a safe, controlled stop. And again, this currently... Another flag you might see is a combination of these two. This is called the debris flag. This will come out when there could be an excess of, dirt or other stuff brought on track from other drivers. It could be, a fluid they see on track. It could be a squirrel if you're talking a track like Laguna Seca where squirrels are common. But anyways, this is the debris flag. This is saying, hey, there's surface change up ahead that's going to throw you off. So be aware of this. If it's really bad, they will actually probably pull everybody in so they can clean it up. Otherwise, they're going to waive it for a lap or two, and then it's part of the track. Moving on, we have the black flag. Now, the other black flag you'll see is the meatball flag. This will come out as a mechanical flag. So usually this could be for something like sound. It could be they see something's hanging off your car, they see your car smoking, something that they go, hey, something doesn't look right here, we want to pull you in. If you see this flag and you look in your rear mirror and you see that you're smoking, don't try to be a hero and get back to the pits. Pull off to the side of the track, pull into the gravel or whatever, and stop and get towed in. It's much easier to tow you in than it is to clean up multiple turns of fluid. So again, whenever you see this black flag with the meatball, it's a mechanical flag. Check your mirror. If you're not smoking or anything, you don't think you're dropping fluid, come in the hot pits. They'll tell you what's going on. Now, moving on from there, we have the checkered flag. Checkered flag means you're a winner. Yay, you won. You've completed your session. You should only see this at most is twice. You're going to see it at the start-stop at every track, and you'll usually see it at a secondary turn. If you see it at the turn before the start-stop, your session is over. Come in the hot pits. Don't come around and see it again at the start-finish. The reason is that we want to get everybody in and get the next group out. If you ignore the checkered flag and come around and see it again, you're now holding up the group for the time slot for the next 20 to 30 people. That's not fair. You all deserve equal track time. So when you see this checkered flag, come in the pits. Again, if you see it before the start-finish line, you have the option to just go slow through the paddock and cool off your car. All these tracks have great areas for you to kind of cool off and slow down your car if you're concerned about that. As far as the passing rules on checkered, I have people ask this a lot. The open passing groups, you're welcome to pass under checkered. There's really no point to it. You're not going to get that lap unless you're trying to get back in the pits to check your tire temp, something like that. Point by groups, same thing as your normal rules would apply. You have to give the point by. You can do it on the checkered. But again, there's really no point to it. We don't want everyone to be crawling to the pits. We want everyone to more or less, hustle in, but still cool off your car. So again, this comes out, means you're a winner. You completed your session. Now, this is the white flag. You'll see this out whenever we're doing a hot tow, where there's an emergency vehicle that's come out on track and not everybody's in. This will always be accompanied with the yellow flag. So these are paired together. If you see these, that just means you're coming up on an emergency vehicle. If you see that emergency vehicle, they're typically going to wave you by. Don't buzz the tow truck driver or anything like that, because if we are doing hot tows at that track day, for example, and you buzz the tow truck driver, guess what? No more hot tows, and now your session's just going to get black flagged every time that there's somebody stuck. So whenever you see this, just know there's an emergency vehicle on track. Keep an eye out for it. Now, moving on to everyone's favorite flag, the green flag. Pretty straightforward. Means go. You're free to go as fast as you safely can in your run group. Obviously, you have to obey all passing rules, but once this is out, you're good to go. My advice, keep a level head. Keep it on the pavement. That way you don't see the other flags. The only flags you really ever want to see are the green flag, and you want to see the checkered flag. If you don't see anything else, good job. Now, the last flag that some of you will see as time goes on is you're going to see the blue flag with the yellow stripe. This is the passing flag. This means, hey, check your rearview mirror. There's someone that really wants to get by you, and they're sticking to your bumper. So you should be checking your mirror and going, oh, wow, that car's really close. This is just the marshal saying, hey, look out behind you. Someone's coming up quick. Let them by at your discretion. That leads me into what the passing rules are. So my mixed group and my open passing groups, pretty straightforward. You guys are open passing. Point by is still recommended in these groups. It's not required, but it's strongly recommended. It's a courteous thing to do. There's no shame in giving somebody a point by, whether you're in an advanced group or you're in a required point by group. Again, it helps keep the flow going on track and helps everybody communicate together and enjoy being safe and driving together. That leads me into the point by group and the novice group / beginner. Guess what? You're only allowed to take a pass on somebody if you're given a point by. So point by required, and it's only going to be on the straightaways for these groups. So whatever track you're at, we don't want to see any passing done in turns. It's only on the straightaways. But what is a point by? Well, I'm going to demonstrate from my seat here. Let's just imagine on track right now, I'm driving along and I check my rearview mirror, or maybe I saw that blue flag and I see somebody wants to get by me. My windows are down, so I'm going to be using a series of hand signals. If I want them to pass me on the left, I'm going to stick my arm out the window and I'm going to point left. I am not going to move left. I'm going to hold my line, get off the gas, maybe brake if I need to, and let them by on the left. Now, if I want them to pass me on the right, I'm not going to stick my arm through the interior. It doesn't work very well. I've seen it done. It doesn't really work. You're going to go up and over the top instead. And once again, I am not going to move right. I'm going to hold my line, get off the gas, again, maybe brake if necessary, let them by on the right. One thing to know is that this is not a free-for-all. This isn't you can go, no, I don't like you. It is 1, 1, 1. It is up to both parties to ensure the pass is done successfully. If you're given a point by in a bad spot, by no means are you required to take it. You can wave it off, and please do. If somebody tries to give you a point by, in a blind corner or a corner at all, don't take it. Wave it off. And some people may wave them off even if you are, pointing by in a straightaway. Some people want to just follow you and see what lines you're doing. And that's where the point by comes in handy in general and doing the passing rules in general. You can learn from each other as long as you're willing to put your pride to the side. That's why I love this community so much. That's why I love driving with all different types of, cars and people, because you can all learn from each other. We can all grow together as long as you're willing to swallow your pride some and realize that, hey, you have some room to grow. I don't care if you've got a 600 horsepower car or a 100 horsepower car. Regardless, if you have somebody on your bumper through the corners and you walk away in the straightaway and they're back on your bumper in the corners again, guess what? They're faster than you. Let them go. There's no shame in it. After a couple turns, they're going to be gone. Move on and try to learn from them. Again, I can't stress this enough. Learn from each other as long as you put that pride to the side. Now, that leads me into the next thing about safety. Our goal always at Speed SF is for you to leave the track day in the same condition you came here in, especially yourself and also your car. And how you do that? 8 out of 10 times, it's based on you and your own personal control. Keep a level head, keep your ego in check, and I guarantee that'll happen. If you can leave the day having done a personal best or a setup change that really worked for you, great. That is the cherry on top. I love to hear that. I don't ever want to see the opposite though. I don't want people going home after their first session because they did something silly or they didn't check, their lug nuts or something silly like that. Everyone's excited to track. I love doing it. I do 30 to 50 track days a year, luckily. I'm grateful for that. And it's tons of fun. And as long as you're willing to just keep your ego in check, you're always going to have that fun. Now, moving on to the things you're required to get onto the track. So, you're required numbers on both sides of the vehicle. They have to be 6 inches tall, at least, and they need to be matching. I don't know why I have to say this, but I've seen it where people have different numbers. We're not allowing 11, like 1-1 or 7-7. It gets too confusing for the corner workers, so try to break up your numbers there. And no single digit numbers. If you want to do 9, fine, you have to put a 0 in front of it. But you can't just do one single digit number. It doesn't work that way. You can use painter's tape. Just don't use blue tape on a blue car. Be smart about it. One thing I also suggest is also have some smaller numbers on your windshield or rear window. It helps the different photo group photographers that come out sort your photos. That way you get more photos if that's what you're after. Again, that's based on the different people that come out, the different photographers that we have at our events. With that in mind though, you need to have those on. And the other thing you need to have on that pretty much every car comes with from factory now is a tow hook. You need to have that tow hook on. I'm assuming you don't plan to go off, but things happen. Things out of your control. Maybe it's a wet day and you spin out, or maybe somebody drops food on the track, or you overshoot a corner, whatever the case may be. If you go off and you get stuck and require a tow, if you don't have that tow hook in, it's now going to delay you getting off the track even longer and upset the next group that's waiting to go out. And it's also going to make the tow truck driver upset. You want to make sure you have that on. Again, no one intends to go off, but in the event that you do, make sure you have the equipment on. Again, pretty much every car out there has a factory tow hook. If you don't know how to install it or you're not sure if you have one, ask your fellow drivers. We're all here to help each other. Again, going back to what I said, it's all about the community. Now, once you've got your numbers on, you got your tow hook on, the one thing you want to do before you get out on track, aside from check your lug nuts, is get all the stuff out of your car. Get all the loose articles of clothing, get out the coins in the door pockets, all the stuff that can rattle around, get out water bottles and stuff like that, because they don't make very good brake pedals. Again, going back to the clothes thing, I've had clothes, while coaching somebody, I've had somebody's sweatshirt in the back seat pick up air and come forward. That's not what you want. So get all that stuff out. You want to go fast? Get the weight out of it. Take your spare tire out. Just make sure your car is clean and prepped and ready to go in that sense. Now, when you're moving around the paddock speed limit is 5 to 10 miles an hour. And there's reasons for this. It's because, well, there's other drivers driving around. There's other people walking around. There's sometimes animals running around. You need to be going slow in the paddock. I know you want to go fast, but that's what you're at the track for. The paddock is not to go fast. So please, please, please obey that speed limit. Otherwise, you're going to get a strike for that. Leading me into the strike procedures. Speed SF, we have a 3-strike policy. You can earn a strike for various different things. Black flags, ignoring the flags. If you blow the red flag, for example, like we talked about, that's 2 strikes. If you're blowing sound, that's a strike. So please be aware of that. That is for the weekend as well. That is not per day. That is for the weekend when it comes to sound rules at some of these tracks. You know, if these tracks have a 2 sound or a 3-strike sound limit, it's not for one day and then the next day it's reset. It's for that whole weekend. So keep that in mind when you're coming out to these tracks that have these really low sound restrictions. Do your research, check our videos. We usually will just talk about what the sound limit is before you come out to the event. Other than that, again, going back to what I said, be safe, have fun. Safety is here, fun is right below it, and you will always have fun as long as you're being safe and you're getting the full maximum track time. Other than that, I've been your host, Joe McGuigan. I'll see you on track.